So this one is a mess.
Like, they're not offensive, they're just boring. So,
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Sinag and welcome to a new reading vlog. So in this reading vlog, we're going to read the Sweet Hit trilogy, and so far I'm in the 10% mark in the first book. I'm just enjoying the vibe of it, and so I decided to just do this reading vlog for the entire trilogy since I feel like I'm going to like this series a lot. I'm going to update you na lang once I'm in the middle of the first book, Hints of Spice, because right now I really don't have a lot of things to say since we're just introduced to the characters and their situation, but so far I'm really enjoying it a lot. I'm going to give a coherent update on the next clip, but right now I'm just going to continue reading. So I gave it 5 stars, and this is actually a small town romance as well, and it has a single parent aspect to it. So our main characters are Sin and Landry. Sin actually just moved to their house, and Landry is the owner of the landscaping business, so they met each other through that way. And I just love the small town aspect in here and how our characters interacted with each other, and I just accepted the fact that in a small town romance, or including a small town aspect in a book, involves a lot of gossip things where or gossip is a possibility to happen, like spreading false rumors or even actual truth, but that's just the reality of it. But nonetheless, the relationship or the close knit component of that small town aspect, as well as the familial dynamics between Sin and her mother and her baby, are so strong, and all of these people, not just the main characters but also the side characters, felt like real people to me, and their actions and reactions made sense. And aside from that, they have personality and depth to their character. And in the romance aspect naman between Sin and Landry, they have a very cute chemistry, and I love that Landry was not judgmental of Sin's background or Sin's past, and both of them just treat each other well. And I like that in this book they communicate well, because I'm afraid that the miscommunication, or there's going to be a miscommunication, because Sin has a secret from the past, or not necessarily a secret, but she has a past that she's not telling to to Landry, which for me personally, I think that makes sense, because they just met each other and they still don't know each other that well. So for me, it makes sense, but I appreciate that Landry didn't judge her. Instead of doing that, he's the one who comes to her, shows to her that he's open for communication if she wanted to talk about it. So I highly recommend this book. I love Christina C. Jones's writing style, and I realized that Christina C. Jones do the tropes that I don't like well. I'm really excited to read the next books in this trilogy. I'll update you about the second book once I have something to say about it. So I finished reading A Dash of Heat, book 2 in the Sweet Hit series by Christina C. Jones. So this one is a mess. This one ended abruptly for me. Like, it literally ended right in the middle of both of our main characters resolving their conflict or their issue. So I find it really lacking in the sense, I feel like it isn't a complete story. We have our main characters, Maggie and Renee. And Maggie is actually the sister of Landry from the first book. And she is the one who's very judgmental towards Sin in that book. She really have a very bad first impression, at least from me. This one, we kind of get to see her change, or at least realize how judgmental she is, and how she does not practice what she preach based on her philosophy. Because in this one, she says that she is a feminist woman and she supports women doing whatever they want to do with their body, while at the same time slut shaming Sin in the first book because of her past as a stripper. Maggie doesn't have a great first impression, at least for me, but I think most of the readers will feel the same. Rene in this one was very underdeveloped for me. Their only interaction mostly revolves around Maggie, and Rene feels like a side character to me, and he doesn't have any depth in this one. He doesn't have any personality. The author provided a backstory for him as well, but it doesn't feel like he's a real person, or at least it doesn't feel like he is a real person interacting with Maggie. It feels like he's a cardboard it feels like he's a cardboard cutout of a love interest, just so we can say that our heroine or our main character has a love interest. I feel like the relationship was underdeveloped as well, as I've mentioned that the literal end of this book, it ended in them resolving a conflict, and we actually didn't know if the conflict was actually resolved in the first place. So I'm kind of thinking of giving this book either a 1-star or 2-star rating. I'm still thinking about it because this one kind of feels the same as The Sweetest Escape. Sweetest Escape is mostly my gripes with it is about the main character, but in this one my problem lies towards the overall execution of the story, or at least how Maggie and Renee's story was told to us and how they ended in this book. It feels incomplete. I feel like the story's potential and our main character's potential weren't explored. I just feel like something is wasted in here. Like, it has potential, but unfortunately it was cut too short, and we didn't even get to see more of Renee and their interaction as a couple, because at the end they're still not a couple yet. They just had sex. So I don't know what's the point. I kind of asking myself what's the point of this book, because nothing really happened. I'm looking forward to reading the last book in this series, which is A Touch of Sugar, which I believe will be about Prue. Prue is Sin's best friend, and she also has a cameo in this one. Let me go back to to A Dash of Heat, because we have here some plot lines that goes nowhere. Like, for example, the one with Renee's flower beds, because he hired Maggie's family's business, the one with the architecture landscaping thing, and he hires them for his restaurant's flower beds, and nothing really happened with that, because it was included in the plotline, because they are supposed to have a meeting to talk about it, and for her to check the perimeter and see if their business can really help Renee's restaurant. But she was sick at that time, and so she was not able to go. But then Landry, her brother replaced her, or he's the one who took the role of going to the meeting and meeting Renee and looking at the area. So nothing really happened with that, and I just feel underwhelmed with what happened in here. Like, there's a lot of things wherein they can explore more, or at least add more to the story, but then it always felt short. Anyway, let's hope for the last book to be a bit better. I hope so, because so far my favorite in this one is the first book. I'm going to update you later once I finished reading A Touch of Sugar. So I finished reading A Touch of Sugar. This is the last book in this series, and I'm so disappointed and sad because I expected a lot more, because the first book in this series, A Hint of Spice, was very good for me, and as the series or as the story progressed, it feels like it's going downhill. Like, in this one, we only get to see Prue and Xavier, and this is actually a Christmas or holiday romance, and they are stuck in Xavier's house. But I don't like where it went, like where the story went. Main reason why I continue reading this series after reading the first book is because of the small town aspect, and also the great chemistry between the main characters and the side characters as well. And I feel like book 2 and book 3 didn't live to what I expected it to be based on my experience with book 1. So this one, nothing really happened. Like, I'm kind of thinking, what's the point? And I feel like the main characters, Prue and Xavier, didn't live up to who they were, to their characters, from what we've seen in the first book. Like, Prue doesn't feel like she's the Prue that we've met in the first and second book, and I'm kind of disappointed with that. She feels a lot more tamer in this one. Nothing really happened. Like I'm telling you, there was a snowstorm, I think, or there's a power outage because of the snow, and they have only one bed trope, and yeah, and then it kind of follows what happened in the second book. Like, the book literally end in the middle of the climax, or I don't know, they are not a couple yet. Like, they just acknowledge acknowledge the situation and say Merry Christmas to each other, and then the book ends. Like, so it's very disappointing to me. So actually, right now, I still don't know what to rate the second book and this book. I'm thinking either 1 or 2 stars, because I want to give this book, I want to give these 2 books 1 star both. But but for me kasi personally, 1 stars are terrible books. Like, there's nothing redeemable in it. And this one, it's not that these books are terrible. It's just that they ended abruptly and they are boring. I never once felt excited reading both of these books. Unlike the first book, I'm always comparing it to the first book, because the first book was really good, and I am usually smiling all throughout reading this book. And I finished that book in a single sitting, because I wanted to know what's going to happen next, and I just love the coziness that it brings. And so reading these 2 books, it's kind of meh for me. It's very bland, and I don't know. It's for me personally, I think, based on the actual writing or the actual bones of the story, this feels like both of these books feels like a 1-star books. But with the content, it isn't offensive, and it's just boring. I don't know what to say, and this is my problem, because now I realize that I don't know where to put boring books. Like they're not offensive, they're just boring. So I don't know where to place them, because my 1-star books, or at least the books that I've given 1 stars, are for those that are very horrible, very offensive, and there's nothing redeemable in the story or in the characters. Then the second and then the 2-star books are those that are meh, or they okay. Now that I think about it, I think I'm just going to give this both books 2 stars, because I'm thinking of all the other books that I gave 2 stars, and mostly the reason why I give them 2 stars is because they are boring and they offer nothing new to me. They didn't excite me during the reading experience. So I think it is safe to say that I think 2 stars is a applicable rating for both of these books. So obviously that's going to be the end of this reading vlog, because we only have 3 books, and I'm kind of sad because this series started really good, and at the middle of this thing, while I am reading the second book, I was actually thinking whether to just scrap the entire video, or the entire video, because I don't feel like the second book really
provides anything new, or I really don't know how to make commentary about it or to express my thoughts about it in a exciting or elaborate way, because it's just boring. Like, summarize both book 2 and 3, it's just boring. So I don't know what to talk about, to be really honest. Like, I didn't feel anything. It didn't excite me. It didn't offer anything that, at least for me personally, worth commentating about. I think this reading vlog or this video was still a success because at least I was able to finish all of the books in this series. But the content the content is very disappointing, and I just wish that I've read the first book only and just include it in a recommendation video or a recent reads video. So, but it is what it is, and I've made this already, so I decided to commit to it. And even though I feel like I have nothing to say, I'm just going. And even though I feel like I have nothing to say, here we are. I hope you still was able to get something from my reviews. If you have read these books or this series, please comment down below what do you think about it, and especially books 2 and 3, because it frustrates me because there's a good story in there, there's a potential, but it was not explored more. As the books or as the series progress, it feels like the things that I love or the things that I want to read more based from my experience in book 1 was slowly chipping away. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to my channel as well, and click the notification bell if you want to be the first to know when I upload new videos. That's all for me, and thank you so much for watching. See you on my next video. Bye bye.